cold buffer. It was winter on the island of Sodor, and all the engines on the main, branch and open road lines were starting to feel the frosty weather. Ice, frost and a slight dusting of snow was everywhere, making the grass and rails glitter in the morning sunlight. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Kirsty smiled one morning. "Easy for you to say," grumbled Ross, shivering a little. "You're already in steam. I think my water tank froze over during the night." Edwin grinned. "I thought you seemed a bit frosty this morning," he said, and the other engines fell about laughing. Ross was not pleased. "Oh, come on, Ross," chuckled Tom. "We're only teasing." Ross just grunted. "I thought you were on a special today," said Chelsea. "Why are you in such a bad mood?" Ross snorted. "It's hardly a special. The new controller's just brought in a new diesel from Eastleigh Depot and wants me to show him round the line." "What's so bad about that?" asked Leo. "I came from Eastleigh, remember?" "Yes, but you're not a diesel." "Don't tell me you still don't like diesels," said Jordan, raising an eyebrow. "Look at Boko, Bear, and Wendell, and even Symes. They're all right." "Those diesels are," huffed Ross. "I never trusted one myself. Look at that diesel who picked on Thomas and Leo. What was his name again?" "Burdock," chuckled Leo. "But come on, Ross, not all diesels are bad." "We'll see," Ross muttered, as he finally got up steam and puffed out into the frosty yard. "Don't you go giving the new engine the cold buffer," called Leo. "You're supposed to make him feel welcome after all." Ross didn't answer. The diesel's name was Alfred. He was a fairly large diesel, about the same size as Bear. Ross was at the water tower when he rolled up alongside. Two men were trying hard to turn the tap to fill Ross's tank up. "Something wrong?" he asked. "The handle's frozen," said Ross, eyeing the diesel with a wary eye. "Driver's gone to get some hot water from the cafe." The diesel chuckled. "Good thing I'm here then. Fuel doesn't freeze over as easily as water." The diesel was only trying to be friendly, but Ross still wasn't sure what to make of him. "You may look harmless," he muttered under his breath, "but I'll be watching you." Ah! Icy water cascaded into his tank, making him feel a little numb. When at last his tank was full, the men tried to turn off the tap, but it wouldn't budge. "What's happening?" exclaimed Ross's driver, returning with a full and steaming kettle. "I think we broke the tap," said one of the workmen. "It won't turn off." The water in Ross's tank reached the brim, then it started to overflow and cascade out everywhere and over Ross's tender. "Switch it off! Switch it off!" cried Ross, as icy water chilled him to the frames. But they couldn't turn it off, or move the hosepipe out of the way. The nozzle was frozen. Chuckled Alfred. "What a joke!" Ross's driver gently drove the seething Ross forwards and out of the way, letting the water cascade between the rails. By the time an engineer had come to turn the tap off, a large puddle had formed between the rails where Ross had stood, and Alfred was still chortling with laughter. Ross was cross. "It's not funny," he hissed as his driver wiped down his tender. "Sorry," Alfred hiccuped. "I wasn't laughing at you." Ross frowned at the diesel. "We'll see," he muttered under his breath. "You're Ross, aren't you?" "Yes." "Your controller told me you'd be showing me round today. Mind if we start, please? I'd love to see this railway of yours." "All right," Ross said, still not looking the diesel in the eye. "Come on." The two engines puffed away, Alfred following in Ross's wake. Throughout the morning, Ross showed Alfred everything around on the Oakham Road line, but all the time he never looked him in the eye, not even once. Just after midday, Alfred was alone being examined by a fitter when Leo trundled up. "Ah," Alfred smiled. "You must be that Lionheart E2 my friends told me about back home." Leo was flattered. "Thank you," he smiled. "Settling in quite nicely, I see." "I am," Alfred replied. "Although I would be, if your friend wasn't so distasteful." Leo sighed. "I'll take no notice of him," he soothed. "He's just not used to working with diesels." An hour later, it was nearly time for Ross's 1 o'clock train. As Leo busied himself arranging the coaches, Ross went to take on more water. He hardly noticed Alfred working in the yard, preparing a goods train. What he also didn't notice was that the water from the overspill that morning had frozen into a very large chunk of ice right between the rails. As he approached the water tower, his driver applied the brakes, but Ross's wheels just skidded on the icy rails. "Oh no!" Ross gasped as he slid past the tower, his wheels coming clean off the rails. He wasn't going fast, but he couldn't stop himself from breaking through a fence and ramming into the side of a road bridge. Fortunately, a mound of hard earth broke the force of the impact, so there wasn't much damage to either Ross or the bridge. However, there wasn't enough time to pull him clear, so Leo had to take the train instead. As he passed, he remarked, "And that's what I call the cold buffer treatment." Ross said nothing. Eventually, the workmen managed to chip away the ice and lay old rails in through the yard, so that Alfred could pull Ross back onto his own line again. That evening, the two engines made up in the shed. That accident served me right for being so distrustful. "Nah, it wasn't your fault at all. I'm just sorry I laughed," Alfred smiled. "And I'm sorry I won't let distrust cloud my judgment," said Ross. And with that, their differences cast aside, the two engines chatted together long into the night.
Six hundred people coming onto the train.